does spot horses where they can win. The 6 horse, My Arbor's Dream, back-to-back wins, a maiden special weight win at Louisiana Downs, and an entry-level allowance win. Last time out in very game style. I noticed the 2 horses that have come back out of that June 12th race have run numbers a little less than they ran in this specific race. So my point is it doesn't look, at least right now, like it was a very strong allowance race, but nevertheless wisely moves into a condition claimer. Texas Bad Boy is my next selection. At 7/8 of a mile, finished second at Remington at a higher level than this. Only other time actually at this distance. And then after a layoff, returned here running 5 1/2 furlongs at this exact same condition. You can see was 14 lengths back at the first call at 5 1/2 furlongs and finished only 4. So 10 lengths made up. May have been just kind of a prep for today's race. Hence, Diego was on. Now his go-to rider, Luzzie's aboard.
Yeah, I don't care what you're doing or who you're running against. You make up almost 10 lengths from the quarter pole to the finish. You know, you might be passing some tired ones, but you are rallying. Yeah, I have the same picks in the same order. This race, the 4th race, starts the 6-shooter, a little $936 carryover in that one. Horse I was really disappointed in last time was Flexati, who I didn't use in the picks in that 4th race. He did absolutely nothing after saving ground. That was the race last week where a horse lost the rider at the start and went up and bothered the leader and bothered 3 or 4 other horses. Didn't bother Flexati, though, because he never got into it. On to the 5th. Start of the pick 5. This is the first of our turf stakes. 4 of the last 5 races on the card are turf events. This is the Wasted Tears, fillies and mares, 8.5 furlongs on the grass, $1,045 in the pick 5 carryover.
Yeah, I found this race very competitive and difficult. You know, for me it was. The 5, Shirley's Temple, just she likes this course. She loves to win. She's won 8 of 17 races. She comes off a really nice optional claiming win over this turf course. Therefore, I gave her the edge. I know shippers generally do really well when they ship in here for stake races, so I might be a little naive in this spot, but I like Shirley's Temple. Disappearing Act has been running in 1.5 mile races, earning strong buyer figures, won back-to-back races, special weight allowances last year at Santa Anita. I just don't believe they would ship in here from Kentucky if they thought this race was too short for her. I mean, it makes no sense. Obviously, they think a 1/16 is more than good enough. Richard Baltus, Joe Bravo. I mean, you can't. This horse should really be flying late, I would assume, turning back from marathon distances. And then Fairchild, who was good at Keeneland, breaking her maiden last year as a 3-year-old, is a lightly raced 4-year-old filly, but rallied to finish 3rd in allowance race. The buyer figure was good. She lost a lot of ground on the second turn. I mean, the figures look competitive. Just has she competed with horses like the rest of these fillies have? I mean, not to this point anyway.
No, I do. I went ahead and took Fairchild, though, second off the layoff. I loved her last race. I went and watched that race at Churchill. Flirting Bridge, the horse that won that race, was 9 wide in the upper stretch. Fairchild was 8 wide, so she got beaten by a filly that was wider than her. They really fanned out at the top of the stretch. Flirting Bridge, the horse that beat her, ran just an absolutely amazing race through the stretch. She's trained by Brendan Walsh, and it was her U.S. debut, was Flirting Bridges. But, you know, I thought Fairchild ran a really nice race. I'm going to give her a chance to improve. Asmussen has a way of getting into these stakes with less heralded runners. We saw that on Memorial Day, getting into these stakes with less heralded ones that run well. So I'm going to take her over Shirley's Temple. Hard to pick against her, even with a step up in class. But I went 4, 5, 7. 6th race. Chicken Fried Stakes, fillies and mares, 5/8 of a mile. And this is an interesting race because we have the winner of last year's Chicken Fried. Yes, it's Ginger coming back. And interestingly enough, you went with her. I didn't. I didn't really care for her last year, and I'm not taking her again this year either. So maybe I'll be wrong twice in a row, or who knows? Maybe I'm taking the favorite in here.
She went off at 5-2 last year. I don't remember if I picked her or not. I can't remember. My memory's not that sharp, but since I don't remember, I'm going to assume I loved her. at this point. But it looks like she hasn't raced since January. So usually you say, how is she coming into this race compared to last year's race? Well, last year's race, she was coming into it okay. Still took a ton of money and won quite convincingly. Workouts, getting a horse ready, especially a professional race mare like this one to run 5/8 of a mile. I'm not concerned whatsoever about conditioning. I just think maybe she loves this course and distance. So I'm going to take it's Ginger to repeat. Running Memories, really nice win on the main track at Gulfstream Park. Previously, won some fast turf races, has won 5 of 9 turf sprints at this distance. Again, ships in from Florida, so obviously they have every intent of going to try to win this race. And Tiz Magic, who had won back-to-back races, one at Houston, one at Lone Star, was 5-1 in the Chamberlain Bridge facing males. Ran a really good race, had the lead into deep stretch, caught by Excess Magic, who's just a phenomenal late kick turf sprinter. So, Tiz Magic of the locals, I think, is could be really tough in here.
Yeah, I agree. I have her second in here. I did go with Running Memories. It doesn't indicate it in the PPs, but that last race was taken off the turf at Gulfstream and run on the Tapeta. And this filly obviously really likes synthetic surfaces because she's run some dynamite races on the Gulfstream's Tapeta. But she's also run some good turf races. She loves the turf sprint. When she breaks cleanly, look out. I think it's odd that she hasn't had any works, but she did race on June 10th. I'm going to give her the look shipping in over Tiz Magic. And, yes, it's Ginger. I looked back at her entire career, and I went back, and she's never had this long a layoff. There's really no way of knowing, as far as I'm concerned, how she'll fire fresh. I'm sure she'll be fit and ready to go. It's just a matter of will she fire fresh off the layoff. She's never had a layoff anywhere near this length. So for that reason, she definitely is good enough to win, but I'm going to look at the other two.
Yeah, another thing that, when you mentioned the layoff, Greg Foley's stats with 180 days, 45%. So that's another thing that made me think that she would be fit enough. It's just, is she good enough? But she certainly, I think, will be fit.
Yeah, I think so, too. And, Ray Gutierrez comes in to ride. He rode her last year here. And on to the 7th. We take a little break from the turf racing. It's very rare to see back-to-back turf races on a track where you only have one course. And it's not like the Widener and the other one at Belmont or whatever. But they'll treat the turf for the hour or so between the 6th and 8th races. So we go to the main track for the 7th, scratch number 3, Gold and Silver.
Yeah, who I thought would take a lot of money in this race. So I'm a little disappointed she's out. The 2, Kentucky Bourbon. This is a tough race at a line because you never know how the public's going to want to bet a horse that has not raced since January. Fired fresh, career debut. The only other example of this colt running fresh, finished second to Alpando, who we know in this region is a very, very talented horse. The workouts have been good. July 2nd, 1 minute and 2, came home in less than 24 seconds. And that gate work, this horse, finished very strong. So that 51-1, don't be misled. That horse, he finished tremendously. So I think he's going to run over the top of this field. That's just my gut feeling. The 6, Cunning. Asmussen's always a wild card. This horse has been at Louisiana Downs. He's never run before. They didn't spend a lot of money for him, but none of that matters too much. I think the tote board will tell the tale in this race. So Cunning, again, been at Louisiana Downs. I don't know. They didn't spend a lot of money, but Asmussen wins a lot of races just like this one. And I'm a Cool Cat, who didn't break especially well, finished 5th in a turf sprint debut as a 3-year-old. A couple nice subsequent breezes, not here again. Second time start. Greg Green's pretty solid horseman, so I think with the experience of that first race, could improve and maybe significantly.
Yeah, I'm on Kentucky Bourbon's bandwagon as well. I think this could be a really quality colt. He's run into Alpando twice. That was last year. Alpando is really good. And then, if that's not enough, they take him to Hot Springs, and he runs into a race with Dash Attack, who went on to win the Smarty Jones when they tried to stretch him out. And, he was up the track. He was dead last in that race. And then he, was off bad and didn't run well in mid-January in Hot Springs. Now he comes back in a sprint. I hope he can regroup here. It looks like he's prepped for it. Secret Holiday is one that'll be up in it. I don't know if he's sitting on a maiden win or is just one of those trial horses that if you can beat him, you can win it all. So I took Secret Holiday second just because he's going to be up in it and up winging, especially with Gold and Silver, who's relatively quick out of this one. Cunning is interesting to me. The dam was unraced, and Steve hasn't worked this horse at all over this strip.
Right.
I'm always a little skeptical of Asmussen's coming from LAD. I don't know why. I don't have stats to back it up. I'm just always a little bit of a show-me guy with Asmussen's from LAD. I mean, that said, they do come in and win. I can think of a couple right off the top of my head. On to the 8th, 5/8 of a mile, $150,000 Grand Prairie Turf Sprint.
Yeah, and I like High Limit Room. I mean, at this distance, been really good. Never off the board in 10 races. 4 were wins. Comes in here off 2 stake place finishes at Monmouth Park. I just think at this distance, might be able to turn the tables on Excess Magic, who ran him down this winter at Fairgrounds. I'm just thinking at this distance over this course, maybe he'll be able to flip that. Excess Magic, the one I just mentioned, has run High Limit Room down before. She's won back-to-back races, 2 at Lone Star Park. She was really impressive last time. I mean, I loved her Chamberlain Bridge race. I wasn't sure she's going to be able to get up there, and he is such a determined runner. He's a fun colt to watch.
Yeah.
Excess Magic's the one to fear in the stretch, and Archie Dust, he keeps getting nailed by Excess Magic. Maybe if it's always trips in races like this. Maybe if he gets a perfect trip, Excess Magic gets hung up somehow, maybe he'll be able to turn the tables and actually win this race.
Yeah, I mean, Alidar had affirmed. Archie Dust has Excess Magic. He's just stuck running against him, and he generally gets bettered by him. But, yeah, I like High Limit Room, too, but I went with Excess Magic. I just didn't want to overthink it on my part, and he's just been so sharp. To me, it's a coin. I'd be surprised if one of those two doesn't win. But I went with Excess Magic in a kind of a coin flip. Barristan the Bold is interesting. Great claim by George Papapadromo. I mean, he claimed this horse for $32,000 in September, and he's reeled off a bunch of wins. He's been going, he can go 5/8. He's been doing it at Santa Anita. If you look back to the spring, he's going to be interesting to see if, the problem is he kind of shares a style with Excess Magic and to a degree High Limit Room. There might be a limit to how many horses come from off the pace in a race like that.
Yeah, his buyers are competitive.
Yeah.
I would just hate to think a horse that has run for $40,000 claimer at Santa Anita can win one of our local stakes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to pull against him.
All right. Well, he got claimed twice for $32,000 at Del Mar last year.
I don't like to see those type come in and win a stake.
9th race. Scratch the 7 Popular Kid. Also scratched the 8 Cellist, who definitely, I think, had a big shot in here. No high five on the 9th race. The $300,000 Texas Turf Classic at 9 furlongs. You want to stay for this one. This is a big one.
Yeah, Field Pass, he's really battle-tested. He's won multiple graded stake races, comes in here off a grade 3, narrow finish, beating only a neck. So Field Pass for trainer Mike Maker, I mean, this is the one. We'll go over $1 million in earnings with a win today. Mega City, the 2 is my next selection. Last time out, a high dollar optional claimer at Churchill Downs, wins in front-running style. Keeneland, a very convincing win, beating a nice turf horse in Big Dreaming. That was back in the fall at Keeneland. Likes to win, in really good form, and the buyer figures are every bit as good as the ones earned by Field Pass this season. Then I had, let's see here, with the scratch, I've got Perfect Star is my next selection, who does have a race over the track after reeling off 3 consecutive clear wins, narrowly beaten last time out in an allowance race. At least I think that's my next pick.
I think you may have taken Mega City second.
Oh, yeah. Well, I already mentioned her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already talked about her. So that's who I got.
You go 1, 2, 3, 7.
That's what I did.
Right. Or not 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah. These multiple scratches kind of got me twice.
exactly, and we get them close to showtime. You know, this may be nuts, but I'm going to take the other Mike Maker. I'm going to take Mega City over Field Pass. The race really sets up for Field Pass. He's got a chance to become a millionaire here. He's a tremendous Maryland bred. There's nothing not to like about him. But Mega City, to me, is fascinating. He was claimed out of his last out. Their first try for him is in a stake. He's got really good speed. They keep Joe Rocco aboard. He's training like a machine at Churchill. I think he might be the lone speed in here and might get out there and just kind of run away from them. Good old Fred's twirling candy at 7 years of age. He's won here wire to wire, but I don't think he's going to be able to run early with Mega City. I think he's going to have to be. So I don't see who's going to go with him unless it's the other Maker that, might be able to push him. It could set up perfectly. Mega City sets it up for Field Pass, but I don't know. I'm going to give Mega City the nod here, maybe get a little bit of a price. To me, Maker kind of dominates this one, so I went ahead and went 2-1.
It is interesting he shipped both of them down here.
Yeah, I mean, he must think that Mega City has some talent. He hasn't had the kind of career that Field Pass has had. Field Pass been running graded races. He was really good last year. Field Pass was super. I mean, look at all those graded races he contested last year. And some of them he contested very well.
Yep.
So that's a really good race. All right. We're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your dollar hot dogs and whatnot. A lot of dollar options today and really great racing.
Yep.
So we'll be back here tomorrow. Stars of Texas Day, another 11 a.m. post. But good luck on your Saturday.
First home here at Lone Star Park at Grand Prix.